All up, Devean George played 11 seasons in the NBA after the Lakers selected him with the 23rd pick of the 1999 draft. Following his rookie season, Devean became a solid role player off the bench, thanks largely to his defense and hustle as he helped Los Angeles achieve their three-peat between 2000 and 2002. By the end of his career in 2010, Devean had earned over $28 million off multiple contracts. And despite his respectable NBA career, it's because of one of those contracts and the subsequent drama that he's best known for. Following his relatively meager rookie contract of $2.5 million over 3 seasons, Devean signed a 4-year, $21 million deal in July 2002. Later, in August 2006, Devean signed a 2-year, $4 million contract with the Mavs. After his first season of the deal, Devean opted out of the second in hopes of finding a much more lucrative offer. But when he didn't get any better deals from other teams, Devean ended up re-signing with the Mavs for 1 year and $2.5 million in July 2007. And despite the relatively little money involved in the deal, that 2007 contract would be one of the most infamous contracts in NBA history. In February 2008, just weeks out from the trade deadline, the New Jersey Nets and Mavs arranged a blockbuster 7-player deal that would send future Hall of Famer Jason Kidd to the Mavs. In exchange for Kidd and Malik Allen, the Nets would get 5 players, with Devin Harris as the centerpiece of the deal. Devean George was supposed to be one of the extra players simply to make the money work, with the fact that his contract expired at the end of the season being an added bonus for New Jersey to help save money in the future. Additionally, Devean had recently publicly expressed a desire to be traded if his playing time didn't increase after his time on the court dropped from around 20 minutes the previous season to 15. So, given that the Mavs didn't have plans to increase Devean's minutes, it seemed like a win-win situation to trade him. But after the team submitted the details of the proposed trade to NBA officials for approval, Devean reminded the Mavs of a little-known clause in his contract. At the time, the issue in question was widely reported as being a no-trade clause. But the detail in question wasn't a no-trade clause, whereby a player has it written into their contract that they reserve the right to veto any trade that their team wants to include them in. Rather, in Devean's case, he had a highly unusual set of circumstances that gave him the right to void a trade that included him that he simply didn't like the idea of. Basically, in Devean's case, the issue in question was simply the league's rules, which stated that players on a 1-year contract who ended their last season with the same team and were eligible for early bird or full bird free agent rights at the end of their current contract could not be traded without their consent. So, Devean had the right to either approve or veto trades because his bird rights would have been lost if he had been traded. Predictably, some Dallas fans began heckling Devean for holding up the deal, which led to his agent having to publicly explain and defend Devean's decision. Ultimately, the Mavs were desperate to save the deal and get Kidd. And eventually, the Mavs and Nets completed their trade after removing Devean and adjusting the terms of the deal. In order to make the new trade work, the Mavs had to go to the extreme of signing and immediately trading Keith Van Horn, who hadn't played in the NBA since the end of the 05-06 season. Strangely, despite the fact that Devean had wanted to leave Dallas, and the subsequent drama over his contract clause, which cost the Mavs $11 million more than the original deal, Devean would re-sign with Dallas in August 2008 when he became a free agent on a 2-year, $4 million deal. If nothing else, the Mavs' new coach, Rick Carlisle, was the only person within the franchise that was genuinely excited to see him return. Ultimately, Devean's remaining time with the Mavs would be underwhelming as he continued to play limited minutes before suffering a knee injury in March 2009. After picking up his player option in the 2009 offseason, Devean was traded to the Raptors, who then sent him to the Warriors in July 2009, where he played 1 season before his time in the NBA came to an end, closing out a career that, strangely, despite once signing a $21 million deal, is best remembered for a relatively meager contract and the little-known clause within it than the 3 rings to his name, if he's remembered at all.
Some things aren't fair, but, that's just how things are. And you have to deal with it.